How's it going, Motor City Miner here, and today we're going to be talking about something that just happened today. Figured this is newsworthy enough and hardware related enough. Let's talk about it. The Lokotech Hashblade. Yes, that is right. It is orderable. Should you order it? That's a whole different story. But can you finally order one? Yes. Does it actually exist? We don't know. Will you ever get it if you buy one? Also don't know. But it is here for pre-orders. So let's jump into it. As you can see, they have updated their website a little bit. We do have a little more information, especially if you go down to their, frequently asked questions. So when do pre-order starts? They did start earlier today. What is the price? We actually have a price that's $19.99. When do they ship? They're saying the second half of 24, which is a long ways away. And then a whole bunch of other stuff that, yesterday was not here. So how did I get this information? Well, actually, obviously this is public, but I received an email yesterday because I have, ever since they went to, as they show here on their website, Litecoin Summit in 2022, I have been a subscriber just to their email blast just to see what the hell was going on. I don't know if it's real or not, but figured what the hell, whatever. Put in my email address, something showed up every once in a while. But yeah, yesterday got an email saying, hey, the pre-order's opening tomorrow for subscribers, and we'll send out a link tomorrow. And sure enough, link came today in my email, and yeah, that link, I will put it down below, but it's essentially just their lokotech.com website / pre-order, and this is where that brings you. I do believe anyone can access this site. It is not email dependent, but yeah, it was just kind of like, sent out through an email blurb. So that is the order form. Again, if you're actually on their website, there's no way to get to that. So you do need to type in the pre-order section. There is no other way to access that. Or if you did get the email yourself, then obviously you can use that link. But yeah, pretty basic information here, nothing too crazy. The $19.99 price, obviously you can change quantity here and spend all your money and go for broke. But, that begs the question, do we think this thing's actually going to ship? So I did think it'd be a good opportunity to just kind of like, now that we have some actual, information, cost, is a big one. Honestly, I think that's the one everyone's been waiting on. We can actually do some number crunching with this thing and see where this will stack up. So between the cost, we also have the specs here: 1.9968 gigahash at 145 watts, which is just absolutely insane. That's 0.0726 joules per megahash. I mean, that is just insanely efficient for a script miner, way beyond anything we've ever seen. So all in this tiny little form factor, that I mean, that's their thing, is they're saying, just use your GPU rigs with these guys and let it go, and you don't have to change any infrastructure. You can just throw it in a PCI-e X1 slot in your desktop computer if you want, so on and so forth. I don't really know how these communicate. I don't know if it's a proprietary software, or if you did put in a GPU rig, is it actually going to show up in HiveOS? No idea. I don't think anyone knows, to be honest, because again, no one even knows if these are real. So we're going to do some hypothetical number crunching though today. I'm not saying you should buy one. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying really much of anything in that regard. Do your own research, decide for yourself. And like anything in crypto, absolutely do not spend or invest any money that you are not willing to lose. I got lucky with the IceRiver thing. Turned out to be great. Within the first batch of KS0s, made bank. But again, IceRiver could have been a complete and total scam. So, and you know, I kind of put Lokotech kind of in that same realm. Like, could be real, or it could be a giant rug pull. Honestly, no idea. So do your own research. Not trying to push you one way or another. Just want to do some number crunching now that they are providing a little more information. So let's get into it. I have made another sheet in my FOMO calc. So you can see here we have the Hashblade batch 1 and half 2 of 2024, which is a long ways away. 9 months minimum, you know, pretty much at this point. And we have a cost of $19.99. All right. And then I did already throw in some information here. So we have the gigahash per second of 1.9968, a wattage of 145. I did preliminary put in a kilowatt hour cost of about 10 cents. Need to do this part still, which is how much USD worth you mine a day. Again, you can merge mine, and I definitely recommend that for any script miner. Use a pool that merge mines, or else you're just missing out on profit for no reason. So, you know, LTC and Doge. All the way electrical costs. So at the 145, you can see that works out to about 35 cents a day to operate. You know, you take the 145, multiply it by 24 hours in a day, divide that by 1,000 to get your kilowatts, and then times that by G4, which G4 cell is my kilowatt hour. So if I, you know, bump this up to 20 cents, it should double our daily electrical cost. There it goes. So, but we're going to leave this at 0.1 for purposes of this. And these are all smart as well, so this is all gonna, until I put in something here, is gonna be all funky number-wise, but once I put in, you know, how many USD you mine a day, then it should actually output not just your net per day, but also the days to ROI based on the original investment of $19.99. All right, so we got to do some stuff here, though. We got to figure out how much USD we're going to mine a day on this thing. Now, this is obviously going to assume current, you know, network difficulties and stuff like that. So we're over here on what to mine because they have a Litecoin, Dogecoin merge mine calculator. So we need to do some updating here. So we're going to grab this gigahash number here, this 1.9968, whatever. We're going to throw that in here. We're going to throw it in the Dogecoin. We're going to assume we'll just leave the 2% fee, you know, pool fee for Litecoin. When you're merge mining, there's never any fees for the second item, so we'll just leave that. The rest of this looks fine. The power, I mean, kind of, I guess we can update this. It doesn't really matter, these two, because right now I'm just trying to get the revenue per day. I already have these input into my calculator, so we're going to do a calculate here. Should give us the same numbers. Yep, so the 35 cents a day, but this is the number we want, the 2.72. So 2, which is so measly, holy cow, 2.72. all right, so I put that number in, and you can see how it instantly figured out all the rest, the daily USD net, so that will actually match what is in the what to mine calculator. So 237, there we go, 237. But here's where my calculator comes in, my FOMO ROI calc, days to ROI. So as you can see, it's a long time, a very, very long time. Because this thing, although super efficient, doesn't put out much gigahash compared to some of the other script miners out there. Whether it's, you know, your L7s, rumored L9, even things like, you know, the blue miner L1, you know, does pretty much 5 gigahash, yes, at a way less efficiency. But the income per day is just so much more because of the increase in gigahash. Again, this is 2 gigahash, just pretty much the same as, like, I mean, it's not bad. It's the same as like 10 mini Doge Pros, which would consume considerably more wattage. So again, the efficiency is where it's at here. But buying just one of these, you know, it's pretty much a really expensive GPU here. Like, you know, bringing in 237 a day, which means your ROI is, you know, 2.5 years pretty much. You know, it's going to be a while. And it's pretty close to 2.5 years on an ROI. Now, admittedly, this is, you know, bear market at the moment, minus maybe the last week. But I would argue we're still definitely in the bear market. And, you know, there could be price appreciation with Litecoin and Dogecoin. So if you mine and hodl, you know, this retroactively, your ROI could be significantly less. But again, for my FOMO calc purposes, that's what we're seeing. Now that we actually have some information go with these hash blades. Again, super cool product if it is in fact real. I mean, 2 gigahash on such a tiny PCI-e X1, you know, it's like just a 1 slot card, like it's not even a 2 slot thing. I mean, yeah, it's super cool. And you can kind of see it here, you know, you just put 2 8-pins into it, call it a day, like a GPU. And if it was integrated with HiVo, it's like, yeah, it's super cool. But one of them costs a ton of money. I was really hoping for this to be less. But yeah, like to actually get like a bunch of these and like replace, say you had an 8-card rig, I mean, you're talking, you know, $16,000, which is no small chunk of money. That is a large investment for one rig. So, you know, it's not as enticing as I was hoping. I was really hoping this price point would be a lot lower, like less than 1,000. Ideally, I wanted it to be like the cost of like a mid-range GPU, which right now would be probably kind of in like the $600, $700 range. That would be like really ideal. And just to like, you know, hypothesize that, like let's throw in $699. Say it's the same price as a RTX 3080 when it came out. You know, ROI now is less than a year, and that would be pretty respectable to me. And I think that price point is also a lot more approachable to, you know, people that are traditional home miners and GPU miners who, you know, are used to buying 8 RTX 3080, so to speak, at full cost. You know, it's still a decent amount of money. You know, you're still talking thousands of dollars at that point, but you're not talking tens of thousands of dollars, which is really the difference here. I mean, essentially at this $2,000 per blade cost, in my mind, they've just priced out pretty much anybody that's a small scale operation or a home miner. You're just not getting enough income back to make it worth your while, right? Like, cool, you can afford to buy one, but then, you know, are you really going to yield that much? Even if you do retroactively ROI with price appreciation for Litecoin and Dogecoin in a theoretical future bull run, it's just, you know, the economies of scale are just not there in my opinion. But again, that's just kind of what I'm seeing here. I am curious what your thoughts are on both, you know, Lokotech, is it real? Do you think it's actually going to get made? What are your thoughts on the final specs and costs? Like, I mean, again, the specs are amazing. 1.9968 gigahash on 145 watts. That's incredible. I would love, if this thing was real, I would love to have like multiple octaminers with just fully loaded with these things. And I mean, I love Doge, mining Doge. I have a bunch of things mining Doge, and merge mining with Litecoin. Like, it would be so awesome. But it's $2,000 each, and is just that's just not achievable, even for me. So, but I am curious, you know, what your guys' thoughts are. You think it's real? Will you? Are you gonna, you know, FOMO and put $2,000 down and hope it does arrive? It's ironic. It's kind of like in the same price point as those KS0s. To be honest, I remember. I think it was $16.99. I can actually look. We go over to my KS0 sheet. Oh yeah, $16.99 for that first batch. So I mean, $16.99 or $19.99. But here's the difference: the $16.99 one, if you were in that first batch, was earning like $40 a day. Again, this is $19.99 and will only make $2.37 a day. The price just isn't making sense to me. Like, if this was priced how IceRiver has been pricing the KS0s, this thing would be under $500 right now for the amount you're making per day. So, like, I'm sorry, Lokotech, but your price is just way out of whack. Will I get one? Probably. Because, you know, for content reasons and, you know, just seeing what's out there, yes, I will probably end up with one. If it is, in fact, real. Again, not saying you should, not saying you shouldn't. I am in a position where, you know, I like, you know, trying new things and trying out new technology that comes out of the mining space. But I will also call it things when, like, it just doesn't make sense. And right now, this isn't really making sense unless you have, like, money to blow or something like that. Like, again, it costs more than the KS0 did on day one, but makes, like, 20 times less money than the KS0 did on day one. So it's like, it's just not as enticing. The KS0, like, even though it's, you know, equally, you know, skeptical, you're like, all right, $16.99, but I could make $40 a day. Or in this case, still skeptical with Lokotech, spend a little more money, $19.99, and maybe make $2.37 a day. I mean, that it's just, the math is just not mathing, if you know what I mean. But still, again, awesome, cool product. Hopefully it does come to fruition, and I hope with that, like, over time it does come down just through economies of scale. You know, it comes down in cost, and, you know, they can get it into the hands of tons and tons of people. I think it'd be really cool to have just GPU mining rigs with these everywhere. New way for the home miner. And yeah, like I said, I'll put this link down below, so if you are in fact interested, you know, and gonna take the plunge and are spending money that you're not afraid to maybe lose, you can. But again, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. Do your own research. But yeah, so that's kind of all I got on the Lokotech Hashblade today. Just some noteworthy, newsworthy item that came through my inbox. So, like, subscribe, comment down below. Are you going to be buying one? Do you think this is a scam? Are you FOMOing? You think this is a ridiculous deal based on what I'm showing here, numbers wise? You know, I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions. So, that's all I got for today. Until next time.